Imagine being the supreme architect of reality. Like, you are the one who meticulously draws up the blueprints for literally all of existence.
Right.
You determine the shape of the galaxies, the physical laws of the universe, all of it. And then after all that monumental effort, you basically end up as the forgotten third wheel of your own divine trinity.
Yeah, it's quite a demotion.
It really is. So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are basing our exploration on a really comprehensive Wikipedia article about Brahma, the Hindu god of creation. And our mission today is to, well, piece together the history of this deity who engineered the cosmos, only to be kind of written out of his own religion.
Exactly.
We're going to decode the staggering math of his lifespan, which is just, it's mind-bending, and figure out where all his worshippers actually went.
Yeah, we are dissecting the historical and theological evolution of Brahma. But, the challenge when approaching this mythology is that the sheer scale of the text can be completely overwhelming.
Oh, for sure.
And it often trips people up right at the starting line with this major linguistic hurdle. You will constantly encounter two terms that look nearly identical.
Right. I saw this in the source material. It's really confusing at first glance.
It is. So there is Brahman ending in an N and Brahma ending in an A. And they represent two entirely different ways of understanding the universe.
Okay, let's unpack this for the listener. What is the difference?
So Brahman with an N is an abstract, neuter, completely genderless concept in Hindu philosophy. It is the infinite, impersonal, universal principle that underlies every single thing in existence.
Got it. It's the concept, not a person.
Exactly. Brahma, conversely with an A, is the masculine personified creator god. He takes a visible form and performs a very specific cosmic job.
Okay, let's ground this in a modern framework so you can really visualize it. Think of Brahman, the concept, as the invisible raw code and electrical infrastructure that makes the entire internet possible.
I like that.
Yeah, like it doesn't have a shape, it doesn't have a personality, but nothing exists without it. Brahma, the god, is like a highly specific, very visible software program built on top of that infrastructure.
Right.
He's specifically designed to engineer the physical hardware. And if we carry that forward to the rest of the Hindu trinity, the Trimurti Vishnu, the preserver, is the ongoing operating system and cybersecurity keeping the network stable.
Yeah, making sure it doesn't crash.
Right. And Shiva, the destroyer, is the inevitable hard drive wipe and system reboot.
That is actually a brilliant way to look at it. And the ancient texts actually support that sort of technological hierarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, Brahma is frequently described as a secondary creator.
Wait, secondary? He's the creator god, though.
He is, but he doesn't conjure the primordial universe out of absolute nothingness. The underlying raw material, that Brahman infrastructure you mentioned, it already exists.
Oh, I see.
Brahma's specific function is just to organize it. He creates the forms within the universe. And depending on which Purana you read, his origin really reflects this secondary status.
Right. The origin stories in the texts are pretty wild.
They are. Sometimes he emerges within this massive, radiant cosmic egg called the Hiranyagarbha, just floating in an eternal void.
A golden cosmic egg.
Yeah. But in the Vishnu-focused texts, the imagery is even more specific. There's this endless cosmic ocean where the god Vishnu sleeps.
Okay.
And from Vishnu's navel, a single lotus flower sprouts and blooms. And seated inside that blossom is Brahma, ready to begin the work of organizing reality.
Just picture the sheer surrealism of that scene for a second. A sleeping deity dreaming the architect of the universe into existence through a flower sprouting from his belly button.
It's incredible imagery.
It really is. And the visual representation of Brahma is just as deliberate. Like, he is traditionally depicted as a man with a red or golden complexion.
Right.
And he's sporting this long white beard that signals an incomprehensible depth of sage-like experience. Plus, he uses a swan or a goose called a hamsa as his animal mount.
Which is very unique among the gods.
Totally. But the detail that instantly grabs your attention when you look at statues or paintings of him is that he has 4 heads, just gazing simultaneously in the 4 cardinal directions.
Yeah, and those 4 heads are the ultimate symbol of his intellectual authority. The texts credit his 4 mouths with speaking the 4 Vedas into existence.
The Vedas being the most foundational texts, right?
Yeah, exactly. They are the foundational sacred scriptures of Hinduism, encompassing hymns, philosophy, and guidance for rituals. So by generating these texts, Brahma isn't just building rocks and stars.
He's building the rules.
Right. He is weaving the fundamental knowledge and cosmic law into the actual fabric of the universe.
But notice what he is not holding. I found this super interesting in the article. He has 4 arms, but he carries absolutely no weapons.
That's a crucial detail.
Right, because look at the rest of the pantheon. Shiva wields this devastating trident. Vishnu holds a razor-sharp discus. But Brahma, he carries a rosary, a mala, to track cosmic time. He holds a water pot, the kamandalu, containing the primordial waters of creation. He clutches a manuscript of the Vedas, and he holds these ladles used for pouring ghee into a sacrificial fire known as a shruka.
Right, the tools of a ritualist.
Exactly. He is equipped like a scholar and an engineer. So why is the entity who builds reality entirely unarmed? Does he just float above the physical conflicts of the world, completely detached from the chaos?
Well, to understand his lack of weaponry, we really have to look at the mechanics of how creation actually happens in this philosophy.
Okay, break that down for us.
So the Maitreya Upanishad breaks down existence into 3 fundamental qualities, or gunas. Brahma is the embodiment of rajas.
Rajas, okay.
Yeah. Rajas is unrelenting passion, dynamic activity, and driving momentum. It is the raw urge to expand and create without any moral filter.
Without any moral filter.
Right. He creates simply because that is his nature, churning out the material and the spiritual, the beautiful and the terrifying, all in one massive burst of productivity. A weapon implies defense or targeted destruction. Brahma is purely an engine of outward expansion.
Okay, but pure, unfiltered expansion sounds incredibly dangerous. If you just leave an engine running with the throttle wide open, it's going to tear itself apart.
Which is precisely why he does not operate alone. To act as a governor on that runaway engine, his consort is the goddess Sarasvati.
Ah.
She embodies the opposing quality of sattva, which represents purity, harmony, balance, and illumination.
So they balance each other out.
Exactly. The interaction between these 2 forces is what makes the universe functional. Brahma provides the explosive driving momentum of rajas, and Sarasvati provides the clarifying structural harmony of sattva.
Wow.
Together, they process raw chaos into a structured reality. And because he is the ultimate intellect, the texts state that he doesn't reproduce biologically to populate this reality.
Right, he creates children purely through intense concentration.
Yes. These offspring are the Manasaputra, the mind-born sons.
Which brings up a huge question for me. If he is purely a mind generating the physical rules of the universe through sheer thought, does he sit outside those rules? Like, does the architect outlive the building?
He does not.
Really?
Yeah. In the theistic cosmology, Brahma is completely bound by time. When his designated lifespan reaches its end, he is not spared. He dissolves back into the formless, abstract Brahman.
The underlying code.
Exactly. The entire universe collapses with him, lies dormant, and eventually a new cosmic cycle restarts. A new lotus blooms, and a new Brahma is born.
Okay, here is where the scale of this timeline just snaps human comprehension in half.
Oh, absolutely.
In Hindu cosmology, time is not a straight line from past to future. It is a spinning wheel divided into immense ages called yugas.
Right.
A complete cycle of 4 yugas includes the age we are allegedly living in right now, the Kali Yuga. And one single day of Brahma, just his daylight waking hours, is comprised of 1,000 of these 4 yuga cycles.
It's just massive. And his night is just as long.
And he lives for 100 of these years.
The translation of those cycles into human years is what really shatters our usual understanding of history.
Yeah, let's do the math on that for you listening. 100 years of Brahma's life equals 311 trillion, 40 billion Earth years.
Yeah.
311.04 trillion. Just pause and look around you for a second. Every historical event you've ever read about, the construction of the pyramids, the extinction of the dinosaurs, the birth of the Earth itself, the future death of our sun.
All of it.
In this cosmology, all of that combined is barely a microscopic fraction of a Tuesday morning for Brahma.
It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
Totally. And to pinpoint exactly where you are sitting right now, according to the ancient texts, we are currently in the 28th Kali Yuga of the 51st year of the current Brahma's life.
Which is fascinating because it completely reframes the human obsession with permanence. Well, we tend to view the creation of the universe as a definitive, one-time historical event that happened in the deep past. But this mathematical framework insists that creation is merely a seasonal occurrence.
Like leaves falling off a tree and growing back.
Exactly. Reality blooms and dies on a schedule over and over again, in a cycle so vast that human existence is essentially a subatomic flash. Brahma is the engineer of the present cycle, but his mortality proves that even the act of creation is temporary.
And that terrifying temporariness brings us to the core mystery of this deep dive.
Right, the fall from grace.
Yeah. Between the 2nd and 6th century CE, Brahma was at the absolute peak of his influence. He had a massive following, major temples, active, widespread worship.
As a primary figure.
But cross over into the 7th century, and his followers seemingly vanish. He gets radically demoted, overshadowed entirely by Shiva, Vishnu, and the goddess traditions. How does the creator of the universe just get demoted?
Well, the Puranas attempt to explain this dramatic collapse through mythology. These ancient encyclopedic texts offer two primary legends to justify why the creator of the universe was essentially exiled from daily worship.
Okay, let's hear the first one.
The first is a legendary tale of deceit from the Shiva Purana. So Brahma and Vishnu are locked in a bitter argument over who is the supreme deity.
Just classic divine bickering.
Exactly. And in the midst of their bickering, the fabric of the universe is suddenly torn open by a massive, blazing pillar of fire.
Whoa!
This is Shiva, manifesting as an infinite column called the Lingotpava.
Right, and this pillar stretches infinitely up and infinitely down. So Brahma and Vishnu decide to settle their argument with a contest. Whoever finds the end of this fire is the true supreme god.
A race to the finish line.
Yeah. So Vishnu turns into a massive boar, Varaha, and violently digs down into the earth for ages. He eventually exhausts himself, realizes the pillar basically has no bottom, and returns to honestly admit his limitations.
A very noble defeat. But Brahma chooses the opposite direction. He takes the form of his mount, the swan, and flies upward for millennia, searching for the top.
Right.
He too becomes exhausted and realizes the fire is infinite. But instead of returning with the truth, he spots a Ketaki flower drifting down from the heights.
A flower.
Yes. He intercepts the flower and convinces it to lie on his behalf. Brahma returns to Vishnu and claims he reached the absolute summit, presenting the Ketaki flower as his false witness.
That is just so mold.
It is. But Shiva, possessing absolute cosmic awareness, immediately sees through the lie. And in a rage at this deceit, Shiva manifests from the fire, cuts off Brahma's fifth head, and curses him.
His fifth head.
Yeah, he originally had 5 in this telling. And the curse dictates that Brahma will never be widely worshipped and will have no dedicated festivals, effectively ending his active cult.
Okay, wait. I'm stuck on something here.
What's that?
If Brahma is the entity whose 4 mouths literally spoke the sacred Vedas into existence, the foundational knowledge of the universe, how is Shiva able to just appear, chop off his head, and curse him out of relevance? Doesn't the creator have ultimate jurisdiction over the things he created?
That is an excellent question. And that logical gap points directly to the real-world mechanics behind the story.
What do you mean?
In the physical world, gods don't demote each other. Their followers do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
During this period in Indian history, powerful religious sects were competing for followers, royal patronage, and cultural dominance. The Shiva Purana was written and compiled by Shaivites, the devotees of Shiva.
So they had an agenda.
Exactly. They deliberately engineered this story to solve a theological problem. They needed to explain why their god was supreme.
Right.
And the most effective way to do that was to take the established creator god, expose him as deeply flawed, arrogant, and dishonest, and have their chosen deity mete out the punishment. It is a brilliant piece of ancient theological maneuvering.
So it's basically an aggressive PR campaign waged through sacred storytelling.
Precisely.
And the Vaishnavites, the followers of Vishnu, had their own completely different spin to write Brahma out of the picture. According to the article, the Vishnu Purana uses what I call the retirement narrative.
The retirement narrative. Yes, the Vaishnavite approach is remarkably bureaucratic.
It really is.
They argue that Brahma's singular cosmic function was to initiate the creation of the physical forms. Once the galaxies were spinning, the planets were formed, and life was seeded, his contract was essentially fulfilled.
Like a contractor handing over the keys.
Exactly. The universe is now in its operational phase. Vishnu is actively preserving the intricate balance of reality every single second. Shiva is actively breaking down the old to make way for the new.
Right, those are ongoing jobs.
Yeah, ongoing daily operations. Brahma has no ongoing role. He is a retired architect living in a house he already finished building.
I mean, I understand the functional logic, but it still feels incredibly ruthless.
So,
He drafts the blueprints for all of reality, and instead of enduring reverence, he basically gets laid off because his project moved out of the development phase and into maintenance.
it is harsh. But look at how successfully that logic permeated the culture. To actually execute this demotion, you need societal mechanisms.
Like what?
Well, When a local king or wealthy merchant wanted to secure divine favor, the priests advising them, who were increasingly aligning with Shiva or Vishnu, would suggest that building a towering temple to the active preserver or the powerful destroyer was a better investment.
Ah, follow the money.
Exactly. Why honor the retired creator when you need help right now? So funds were redirected. The wandering bards and storytellers who traveled from village to village began singing the new epics where Brahma was either a cheat or an afterthought.
Wow.
Over a few centuries, the physical infrastructure of his worship was completely starved of resources.
And you can see the results of that starvation today. If you go to India, finding a temple dedicated primarily to Brahma is a genuine rarity.
Very rare.
The most famous one left standing is the Brahma Temple in Pushkar, located in the state of Rajasthan. And even that solitary temple is burdened with mythology to explain its isolation.
Right, another curse.
Yeah, local legend claims it is the only place he can be worshipped due to a totally separate curse, this time from his own wife, Savitri, after he performed a major fire sacrifice with another consort. It's like everywhere you look in his homeland, the narratives are designed to sideline him.
However, theology is rarely confined by geography.
True.
A fascinating phenomenon occurs when an idea is suppressed in its place of origin. It often migrates. As Indian merchants, scholars, and priests traveled along the ancient maritime trade routes, they carried the concept of the creator god with them.
Right?
So while the Shaivite and Vaishnavite sects dominated the Indian subcontinent, Brahma found incredibly fertile ground across Southeast Asia.
This is where the story pivots from a quiet retirement to an absolute explosion of reverence.
It really does.
Like if you walk into the bustling, ultra-modern heart of Bangkok, Thailand, just amidst the shopping malls and insane traffic, you will find the Erawan Shrine.
Yes.
It is anchored by a breathtaking golden statue of the four-faced Brahma, who is known in the region as Phra Phrom. And it is not an abandoned relic, it is pulsing with life.
It's constantly busy.
Traditional Thai dancers perform constantly, the air is just thick with incense, and crowds of people from all over the world gather to pray to him for good fortune and success. The Thai government even features his golden statue atop their government house.
It's amazing. And the migration of his influence goes even further south into Indonesia, where his legacy is literally carved into the geology of the island.
Wait, carved into the geology?
Yeah. In East Java, there is an active volcano called Mount Bromo.
Oh.
And the name Bromo is the Javanese pronunciation of Brahma. Historically, a local sect believed that the physical crater of this volcano was a direct geographical connection to Brahmaloka, the highest cosmic realm where Brahma resides.
That is wild, and that connection is still honored with intense devotion today. Every year, during the Yajna festival, local Javanese Hindus make a massive pilgrimage.
Right up the volcano.
Yeah, they climb the slopes of this active volcano, stand on the precarious rim of the crater, and throw offerings directly into the smoking caldera.
Wow.
They hurl vegetables, fruit, livestock, and money into the depths as a visceral, physical demonstration of gratitude to the ultimate creator. It is just such a stunning contrast to the quiet, marginalized temples in India.
It really serves as a powerful demonstration of how spiritual concepts adapt to survive. The idea of Brahma evolved from the very early abstract Vedic creator figures.
Right.
He lost a massive theological turf war in his native land, stripped of his temples by rival sects. Yet the fundamental human need to honor the origin of things is so strong that he was seamlessly integrated into Buddhist cosmology and local folk traditions thousands of miles away.
It proves that a sufficiently powerful idea can never be completely legislated out of existence. It simply finds a new landscape to inhabit.
Yeah. Exactly. From the ultimate cosmic architect dreaming the universe into existence, to the victim of a calculated mythological smear campaign, to an active, revered presence in the volcanic craters of Java and the busy streets of Bangkok.
It's an unbelievable trajectory.
It is. And, exploring that trajectory leaves us with a really provocative parallel to our modern world.
What's that?
Well, consider what we are doing right now with the frantic pursuit of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
We are desperately trying to build systems that can generate art, structure data, and essentially organize a new digital reality. We are trying to be the architects.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
But if we succeed in creating a self-sustaining system, our role fundamentally ends the moment it is turned on. Are we prepared to face the reality of Brahma? The reality that the ultimate reward for successfully creating a universe is your own immediate obsolescence.
That is a lot to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep examining the origins of the ideas that shape our reality, and we'll catch you next time.